Right. Welcome. This is the Pandemic Proof Singer Series. I'm Danielle Tucker. I'm your host. I'm a singer, vocal coach, and a lead singer for the Mighty Untouchables band. I was also the recent producer and host of the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit, and which spun off of this interview series to begin with. And this live stream is really for singers. Moving forward in the midst of everything that's going on, it's about community and lifting one another up, inspiring each other, and just doing hard things with one another. And I have a really special guest tonight. So I'm so excited to talk with her. This is her third time joining me to do this because that is just how much I like her. And let me tell you about her. This is Lauren Leigh. For the last 7 years, Lauren has made a name for herself as a singer, songwriter, band leader, session singer, and hired gun based in San Diego, California. Before the four horsemen of the apocalypse brought, oh my God, you're cracking me up, brought their wrath to 2020, Lauren recorded and released a 5-song EP entitled Flare at the beginning of the year. She fronts Lauren Leigh in the Low Keys, and Wild Heart, and performs frequently in duo format with local guitar legends Sam Hunt, Ben Zinn, and Joshua Taylor. We have a ton of stuff to talk about tonight, so I am going to bring her on. Hello.
Hi.
I hadn't read the bio before.
I love that. I love that it put you on the spot.
What's happening?
I had to make a new bio when we did Coronacella recently, and because mine was really old, and I was just like, well, might as well have fun with this because nobody really reads bios anyways. So yeah. It's like, well, this is the true. So we'll just talk about it like that.
I'm glad that it doesn't start out with Lauren Leigh has been singing for as long as she can remember.
Don't you love those?
That drives me nuts when I see.
Ever since she was a little girl, Lauren loved singing.
Yes, at 3 years old.
Which is true. I'm not going to tell people that.
Destined to be a singer. And I'm very sorry to anyone that I've just offended with that statement.
There's good advice, though, for singers. If you're creating your bio, don't do that. It's
say that.
Boring.
Given. It's a given.
You're boring. Yeah.
You're boring. I love it. Oh my gosh. So before I forget, I'm going to post up in the comments all of your website link, all of your socials, so everybody knows where to go and check you out.
All the things.
Yeah. I thought we would kind of jump into the fact that you just released an incredible single called Trust Fall.
Yeah.
Do tell us all about it.
So Trust Fall, wow. I have so many great things to say about this, which is good because it didn't come from a great place. But I wrote it actually before the shutdown and the pandemic. So before everything was shut down, it was like directly before. It was like the week that everything shut down. And I had just gone to see some friends play, you know them, King Taylor Project, Josh Taylor and Sandy King. They had a house party. And it was actually, this is the last like large gathering I had been to with like lots of people, was this house party that they were performing at to raise money for their upcoming projects. Mm-hmm. And I was there with a guy I was seeing, and things were getting kind of intense for us around that time. And even before the pandemic hit, I had been having the hardest time, like in my life. Like a lot of hard things were happening in my life with my son, with my relationships, with friendships, with different things in my life. And so I felt like I didn't have any room or space in my brain or in my life for this developing relationship. And so even though it was something I really was excited to be involved in, and like I enjoyed the attention and like the, you know, all the things that were happening around it, I knew that he loved me and I did not love him. And it was just one of those songs that kind of vomited out of me to express it, because I mean, I feel like that's a relatable situation that a lot of people have been in, of just like, hey, I'm just not where you're at, but I really, really wish that I was. And so that's kind of what the song is about. And this was right around the time when I first started picking the guitar up again. And I was just kind of playing around with it. and it kind of, again, I like to use the phrase vomited out of me, even though it's kind of a gross phrase, but
Picturing you vomiting out this song.
yeah. So, I mean, really, it happened in like the course of like a half an hour. It's just the whole song came out, like all the chord changes and there's not that many changes to the song, to be honest. But it's a very simple song with, I think, a powerful melody, and it hit me in the right spot. So I saved it, and I performed it at Coronachella, and I performed like quite a few songs at Coronachella, or I think three or four. And out of all the ones that I did, that one got the best response. And I had a friend, Astra Kelly. I don't know if you've interviewed her or not.
I
Have you?
haven't.
Oh, you
No. Yeah.
should.
That's a
Oh,
good reminder.
you should. Astra's great. She was like, "Hey, do you have a demo of that? Because I kind of, I really love that song." And I was like, "No, but I think I'm gonna work on that." So
Mhm, mhm.
so we did. We just kind of went for it, and we all recorded separately and safely from home, which is not the ideal setup for us. The way we recorded my EP was in a studio in LA with my producer, and it was just like really, we did it all over the course of a weekend together, all of us in the same tiny recording room, and it was this beautiful, magical thing. We knew we weren't going to be able to recreate that, but we did the best that we could, and we had Daniel Crawford mix it and master it and produce it. He made some producing choices on that as well, and the result is something that I'm super, super, super proud of. Like it's my favorite thing I think I've done to date. So
Aw. It is.
yeah.
It's so amazing. I love it. And
Thank
you
you.
have a video coming out for it too, right?
Ah.
Ish?
So I did.
Okay.
Okay, so I filmed this whole video with my roommate Chloe, and because we can't really get together with the band and do all of like the great production things or ideas that we might have. And I had this idea in my head of how I wanted the video to go, and we filmed over a couple of days, and I got into my editing studio and just kind of did what I could with it. And honestly, it's just not good enough, is
Okay.
it's not just in my own head and my own insecurities about it. It's like the band collectively, we're just not happy with where the
Mhm.
video is at for the quality of where the song is. So, I mean, it's not like the video is terrible. It's just that we think the song is so good that it needs something that much better. And the visuals going along with the music and having that match is just really, really important to me, especially with this song. So, like with
Yeah.
my "Burned by Bridges" song, that's a fun song to begin with, and it's just kind of, the video doesn't have to be that powerful. But, I really feel like it has to with this song. I'm just, like, we're all just kind of like, "Nah, we're gonna have better standards for ourselves of what we're gonna release," and so I'll probably end up just paying somebody to do it and not doing it all on my own, because I can't, I just want it to be better, and that's not my area of expertise. It's like a hobby for me. So
Mhm.
it's not something I'm fantastic at, but if people really wanna see it, I did release a version of it on my Patreon.
Okay.
So, all my patrons get to see it, have already seen it, and, they're very sweet, and they love me that they pay
They
me
love
for.
everything that you do.
Yeah, they love. I mean, that's what
Right.
patrons do, it's like they support you, and they are excited to get any kind of, whatever I have that I wanna share with them and show them my process of what's going on. So they have actually that video
Mhm.
now, but I'm not gonna release it publicly.
Yeah. Well, that's a
Prob
cool bonus for them, and
Yeah,
anyone watching,
yeah,
noted, check out Lauren's Patreon because
yes.
we get lots of goodies in there. Well, I
Yeah,
totally respect your choice to do that, and that's such a hard thing to do
it
when
is.
you've invested so much time and effort into
Yeah,
something, but when you know it's not right,
it's
and you
not
can
right.
suppress that, hankering to just get something out there,
Yeah. I
you know
know, because we were just talking about this, how, like, if I have something that I wanna show people, it's very difficult for me to, like, wait and hold on to it and not show people and just wait until it's good. But, that's, like, one of my biggest problems is I probably just overshare. But I think that's another thing that kind of maybe people like about me too is like, "Hey, this is me. What's up?" It's
Oh,
not.
the sharing? I love that about you. Are you kidding me? Anytime you post something, I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Let me check this out.
It's first of all, we're in a pandemic. What else are you doing
Right.
other than paying attention to other people's crap and what
Right.
they've got going on? But yeah, every now and then I've got some juicy stuff, and every now and then it's just me complaining, and every now and then it's me being grateful. I don't know. I'm a mixed bag from literally minute to minute. So good
Yeah.
luck if you're following me.
Well, it makes good songwriting material because especially having that ability to, I think you have a great ability to just express yourself and you wear your heart on your sleeve and you're very open and just transparent and honest about
Aw.
everything you do. And that obviously translates into your songwriting and I'm sure it just seems second nature to you, but
No.
not all human beings are, that open or able to like be creatively, honest like that. So
Well, I mean, writing songs is it's vulnerable. It's really,
Mm,
really vulnerable. And it is sometimes it's the worst parts of you, and you don't necessarily want people to know about the worst parts of you. And one thing that I try to challenge myself with songwriting is, okay, am I being really honest about who I am in this story? Like, or am I just, who am I? Like, where's my, am, am I just shining light on this other character in the story, or am I shining light on what I'm really going through honestly? So
yeah.
if I'm honestly crying in the shower, then write that down. Like, I'm crying in the shower, and that's a song lyric. Or if I'm honestly being crazy and being a bitch, then write that down. And that bitch is me. That's my song,
Mhm.
my Burned by Bridges. And it's like, I got to really take a look at what my part is in all these stories that I'm trying to tell, and then try to relate that honestly. And it doesn't always need flowery or really, complicated wording or poetry or prose. Sometimes it's just stating what the obvious of what's going on. And then that's kind of what people have latched onto.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what people love about you for sure. Another thing that I love about you is that you are so supportive of your band and musicians in general around you. And I was so impressed the other night. You had a live stream going on,
You
which
did.
was awesome. It sounded great. And you were playing guitar. You sounded great, even though you said you were
Aw.
nervous.
Oh
But
God.
the whole point of the live stream was that you wanted to raise funds to pay your band members,
Yeah. I
for doing the stuff. And that's so amazing.
I really wanted to. I mean, it's really important because not everybody can do a live stream, and not
Mhm.
every, for singers, we've been able to kind of, find this live stream medium, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, however we do it, and make a little bit of money for ourselves, however often we choose to do it, and whether or not we choose to do it, because there's a lot of people who are like, I'm not doing that. But
Right.
but a lot of musicians really don't have that option unless they're attached to a singer.
Mhm.
They can't just do a show from home. Like a bass player is not going to do, an at-home solo bass show. I mean, somebody might. I mean, my bass player Harley is so
He
good that
could.
he totally could. But your average bass player isn't going to do that unless they're like playing two tracks and stuff. I mean, there's obviously ways that people can get creative, but like a drummer, or they have a little bit more difficulty being able to do that. Also, I don't have like regular stream of income right now because of all this pandemic unemployment stuff, which is really
Mhm.
frustrating. I'm working on it, and we could talk about like the different ways that I'm trying to shift and pivot to making music a full-time thing again, or like,
Right.
working for me. But they don't have as many of the options as I'm afforded. And so it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay these guys? Because they would do it for free, but that's not okay with me,
Yeah.
because I insist on being paid for my art. And so should they. So should they. And regardless of how much they might love the music or love me or anything, I'm still utilizing your skill and your time, and I need to pay you. And so I was able to actually raise enough money to pay them between that and the sales of my single. So between the sales of my single and that, I was able to give them some money, and I feel a lot better about that. And we have a little bit of money tucked away from my Patreon to pay them in advance this time for my next single that's coming out.
Yay, that's so great. That's so
Yeah.
solid that you did that. Amazing.
It was terrifying.
Yes,
Oh my
tell me about it,
god. Oh my
please.
god, it was so scary. I was sweating. My hands, like playing the guitar, my hands were like slipping and sliding, and it was just I was so hot and I smelled so bad afterwards. But I mean, I had a lot of people in there just constantly giving me like, "Hey, you're doing great, and keep going." People showing up and people donating, which was really encouraging. And I just did it. And like what I kept telling myself in my head is maybe this will inspire like another singer to accompany themselves and just do it. And because I was thinking all week, okay, well, maybe I'll just sing the karaoke tracks and just have that be my live stream. And then I was like, no, I really want to sing my originals because there's a couple that I'm moderately comfortable playing. Obviously they sound better when I have my band behind me, but it's like, this is what I got right now. And I just used what I had, and it was terrifying and it was not great. Like if you watch it and you just listen to the guitar playing, if you are a guitar player, you're like, I'm sure. Because if I related to like listening to a singer that doesn't know what they're doing, I'm just like, I'm sure it was painful for some people. But I was banking on my voice kind of just masking everything else that was wrong with what the performance was.
Mhm.
But somebody, who was it? Who was I just talking to? Oh no. Oh, I was talking to Josh Taylor because he's my guitar teacher.
Mhm.
And I was talking about the live stream and how difficult it was. And he was saying that your voice is one instrument, the guitar is another instrument. And I think he was remembering something that Josh Weinstein said, who's my keyboard player, which is that when you play both of them together, it's its own instrument. So
Mhm.
it's not, so don't think of them as separate. You got to think of them together. And so that's a whole thing you have to practice on its own and make that grow in its own way. Because when I play guitar by myself, I can make it through all those songs perfectly, no issues. My rhythm is so great. But when I try to add phrasing like vocally and stuff and match it with the rhythm of the guitar, it's like doing this thing. And if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not, it's so, it's not, it's hard to maintain. And I have not practiced enough to make it great. But I practiced enough to last an hour and raise some funds for the guys. And that's really was my whole goal. And then now I got that first one out of the way. So the next one's going to be a little bit better and a little bit better. And just like with live performing, like you pick up things along the way and it gets a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, super courageous. I know several musicians who have been, decent at accompanying themselves, but wasn't until they like picked up a gig, as a solo
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
that forced them, to really like hone in that skill. And I mean, how terrifying, but at the same time, it's like you gotta
Yeah.
jump
That's what
in
I
there.
did. I did that to myself. I like made a poster for it and I posted it and I told people I was going to do it and I made an event and I invited people to it. So now I had to do it. It was like, okay, you don't have any other choice. This is what's going on now. And however it ends up is how it ends up. But if it's on the calendar, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
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 I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find it online so that I can
How long
share.
did it take you to hit the live button before you started?
I actually hit it a few minutes early because I couldn't wait anymore. I was like,
Oh,
"Let's just go. Let's just go. I'm all set up. I'm all ready. I got all my things." And, that's it. That's all I wanna do.
that's so like that's the polar opposite of me. I sit there like, okay, um, wait, wait, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
rethinking the whole thing. It's like,
Right.
is someone at the front door?
Oh, yeah, I
Maybe I
know. "Oh, oh, do I have a stomachache now? Should I postpone? Is every I know Jack's with his dad, but maybe he needs me." No, just
right.
all the irrational stuff that we tell ourselves on why we can't do things. And,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'm there with you. It's terrifying. It was really hard, but I mean, in the scheme of things, it's kind of like not that big of a deal. And then also, it's not going to ruin my career if I mess up, or if I mean, I messed up royally. Like I played 8 or 7 songs or something, and for 5 of them, there was massive mistakes. But, like having to stop and then figure out where I'm at and then keep going, like just things that are like mortifying in a live performance. But when it's just me and I'm at home and I can do it and I'm with friends, then it's okay. It's not so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So brave. You're a big inspiration. I'm sure you will influence a lot of people who have been thinking about
I
doing
hope
that.
so, because I love watching my friends' live streams. I really do. I enjoy it, especially when it's done well. And like, I was important for me to get the audio quality better than what my last couple have been, because before I was just doing it straight through my phone and just kind of being like, whatever, this is what the sound is and this is what it looks like. But I've actually put some time and money into my setup now so that I sound good and I look okay. And so because it does make a huge difference on people tuning in and staying tuned in.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It really does. And I mean, like, if you got to use what you have, I mean,
Right.
that's perfectly understandable.
Yeah,
But
totally.
because there are so many live streams going on, the way I like make that choice in my head is, if I'm playing it through, a speaker in the kitchen while I'm cooking dinner or something, or if we just want to have it going on,
Yeah.
throughout the house, like we'll, what's it called when you show your phone screen to your TV screen? I don't know, screen sharing or something. That
Just
big
go up
box that
there
you watch on the wall.
when you send it there.
Yeah, it just goes there. Well, I mean, if it's annoying to listen to, even if I really love the
Yeah.
person, I
I gotta
probably
turn
won't
it up.
watch it.
I gotta
But if
turn it
it
up.
sounds good,
Yeah.
that's all the
100%.
in the world. Yep. And just back to your nerves, the thing, um, I just think in general, not everybody is like this, but for the most part, I think we just take ourselves way too seriously and
Yeah.
get in our heads so bad about these things. And
Mhm.
and the truth is that just nobody really cares that much.
We're really not that big of a deal. Like,
No.
we are not. Like, people just don't care that much, and if they do care, they actually, like, really like you and support you. So, I think because we've grown up in this internet age where we see all the negativity online that could happen, but, like, for somebody like Ariana Grande or like Obama, and they get all this crazy, negative, online harassment, essentially. We
Mhm.
have it in the back of our heads like, "Oh, that could happen." No, no, it's not gonna happen to you, and if it does happen to you, then congratulations, now you're a big deal and you've made it, like, there's positives that come with that too. But, I mean, I've received negative feedback before. I've had online harassment happen,
Like
and it's
your napkin note.
yes, like my napkin note. I'm sorry, I have that napkin still, like, I keep it on my desk, like, in my room. I just keep it, and so I can look at it every day. And if people don't know what I'm talking about, I had a show at Patrick's Gaslamp Pub with my band Lauren Leigh and the Low Keys, and we were killing it. We were just having such a good time. And this guy was watching us all night, and he was really digging it. And then he gives me 4 napkins worth of notes that he had written, like, watched our show and wrote down the most repetitive bullshit I've ever heard of just nonsense, like, "Band needs more dynamics." And he wrote dynamics with a Q, like Q-U-E.
Yeah.
He wrote it dynamiques, and, and, you need to have a little bit more expression and feeling. Like, I'm up there, like, dancing my fucking I'm sorry, I'm dancing my ass off and just, like, especially at Patrick's, I don't just stand there and sing, like, I'm pretty cray-cray when I'm performing, which is super fun for me. And so it was just, like, the most insane, but it was 4 pages of notes, and we just laughed our asses off for the whole, like, during our break, and, like, we just haven't let it go, and I have it, and I miss it. I miss getting that. I miss the silly people that come up after, can you play something we can dance to? Like, so, just the insane Karens that attend live shows. I miss them. And I
Mhm.
can't wait to get back to that kind of stuff, because that means that people like you.
Yeah, yeah. I know
Yeah.
not to divert too much from the subject, but kind of
Yeah.
on that same subject, one of my favorites has always been the person or the couple out there that is, totally drunk and just loving, loving, loving every last second of everything that you're doing, loving everything about you.
Yeah.
Set ends. You guys are done? Oh my God, you're the worst band
How
ever.
could you do that to us? It's my cousin from Texas's birthday. Like, I'm sorry. We've literally been playing for 4 hours, so bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
That's nuts.
Wait, wait, she's getting married tomorrow. Like, I know. We said we announced that like 12 times. Yeah.
Yes. Or requesting the song that you literally just played like 2
I love
songs
I
ago.
love that one. Like, sorry you weren't here for that, or you were stuck in your drink, but we played that. And we dedicated to you. You didn't hear?
Oh my
Yeah.
So back to the criticisms. So just so any non-singers that are watching this, just know we criticize back,
Oh, yeah.
behind the scenes.
It happens. Sorry.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like, if anybody comes to your job and criticizes you, you bitch about it to somebody at the end of the day.
for real.
Yeah.
Yes. The thought that came into my mind when we're talking about criticizing is I point to the rise of all of the competitive singing shows
Oh, God.
that has totally shifted the way people consume music now. I think that millions and millions of people watch these shows and it's all about judging, critiquing, pulling apart. And I feel like nowadays a lot of people consume music that way,
Yeah.
either going out to see live music or,
Mhm.
listening, um,
The problem with
rather
those
than sitting
shows is
enjoying it.
that it gives, like, the average listener of live music vocabulary they didn't have before those shows in order to critique you.
Mhm.
And, like, for example, I was doing a gig at Tin Roof one night, and um, this lady comes up to me and she's like, it was really beautiful up until about middle of the song. You went kind of nasal, and I don't know if that's what you were going for. And I was like, who are you? Like, what are you saying to me right now? Just go have a drink. Like, I don't
Yeah,
need this. Are you
for
gonna
real.
produce my next album? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It was not solicited, but those shows, they really do put in this perception of, like, this is how it should be, and this is the production level you should consume from an average singer that they just plucked off the street. That's not how those shows work, unfortunately, and I was able to get a little behind the scenes peek at how those shows work last year for a
Mhm.
little bit. You know, Cedrice was on The Voice last year,
Mhm.
and she got pretty far. She got to the live shows, which was awesome, and she did an amazing job. And while she was going through all that, I was actually auditioning to be on the next season. And I got all the way to uh, right before they 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 do the blind auditions. I got
Mhm.
cut right before that, and because the pandemic hit, and so all of the audition criteria, like, kinda changed, and you had to do everything from home, and it was just really strange, and I didn't even know if I wanted to be a part of it at that point because it went virtual, and I was like, "I can't do all this stuff by myself." But, but I got a taste of, like, I got that audition because I was asked to audition. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't wait in that days-long line, because I had done that years ago and I was like, "This is not for me." And so I decided I was never gonna do that again. Well, I got asked by a friend of a producer to come and audition, and I'm like, "Oh, this is how people get on the show. Like, this is
Yeah.
how this happens, is, like, you gotta know somebody." And unfortunately, that's the way it works, is, like, you have to know somebody who knows that you're a singer, and then they give you a shot, and then if you're good enough, then you make it to the next level, and if you're a part of whatever narrative or story that they are cultivating for that year, then you make it to it has nothing to do with whether or not you're good enough to be on the show, or what's going on in your life, or if your life is sad enough or anything like that. It's just this is the narrative they have for that year and how they want it to go. And if you fit into that, then it's your year. And
Yeah.
it's not realistic at all.
Mhm.
It's just not.
No,
No.
it's really not. Yeah, I think it just skews the way we enjoy music too
Yeah.
much, just sit down, get yourself a drink, relax, and just enjoy the music. Don't worry about, making bullet points about it or anything.
I don't need your napkin notes, but thank you.
Oh
So,
my gosh, that is just classic.
yeah.
Back to your music, you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Considering just what's happening here, you seem like you always have a lot of things going on, and one of the other big projects that you did last year was, some songs on Jonny Tarr's latest album.
Yes. God, I cannot say enough good things about Johnny. Johnny is just, not only is he incredible musician, songwriter, he writes the most fun, poppy, dancey songs ever. And he's also just like a really, really decent human, like just a really good guy. And I love him, and I love his little daughter, and I just miss her so much. I want to squeeze her and kiss her face. But he asked me to be a part of his album last year, and I was like so stoked. And what's funny is, sorry, I'm going to kind of segue a little bit, and then I'll bring it all back in. But since the shutdown, I've had to kind of pivot into, what am I doing next? Like, how am I making money with music? And I've pivoted into session work, and I've built it, like, since I've started doing it really, like, for reals, I'm slowly building it up. It's just like if you're starting out with live shows, it's like you have to network, you have to know the right people, and you have to get the word out, and you have to build up a
Mhm.
resume, and you have to, so it's taking some time, but it's starting to kind of ramp up, and most of it is through word of mouth. However, because I sang Great Gig in the Sky in my 2019 tour with the Pink Floyd Experience, that song is, I don't know if you've ever heard that song before, but Great Gig in the Sky is all, there's no lyrics. It's just all wailing, vocalizing, and it goes way up here, and there's a lot of dynamics, and I had to access a different part of my vocal range that I didn't know I had in order to perform the song. So anyway, because I did that song, I've been repeatedly asked in session work, "Hey, can you throw a great gig solo over this track that I wrote?"
Mhm.
And they want me to sing like that. And what's funny about it is, like, they don't realize that that song took me 3 months to master. Like, it
Mhm.
took me 3 months to not only get, how the song went, like the melody, because I don't read music
Mhm.
and I can't sight sing. So I had to just repeatedly listen to it and get it in my head. And then I had to figure out how to get up there. And then I had to figure out how to phrase it, and then I had to figure out how to make it my own, and then I had to figure out how to get the tone that I wanted. So it took me like 3 months of practice to
Mhm.
get to where I was happy with that song, and these people are wanting me to go into the studio and in a day give them a great gig solo, which is like, yeah, sure, no problem. And
You
I've
don't
just kind
pull
of,
that out of your hat?
yeah, well, I was on that tour with Johnny, and Johnny asked me the same thing, and he said, "Can you please give me a great gig solo on this song?" And I was like, "Okay," but I took my time
Yeah.
with his, he didn't give me a deadline. It was just kinda like, whenever you're feeling it, whenever it flows, when you get it right, which was wonderful, and I got to take my time with it. And so on his track, Take It Away,
Mhm.
uh which is on his album Tough Stuff that he released last year. I got to do a great gig solo on that. And then I also got to write on his song, and it's called Finger in the Socket, and it's just a fun, silly, weird song. But I got songwriting credits on that one too, and some vocals on there with Josh Taylor too. So
Yeah.
we're all a little family. So that was really fun to be part of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's really great. Um, so you mentioned pivoting, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you said that because I kind of had an incident happen today where the reality is like, this pandemic, it's not a surprise anymore. It's not, nobody should be surprised. Nobody should be, um, wondering, well, I guess you could be wondering what you're going to do next, but
Yeah.
hopefully by now you kind of have somewhat of a game plan.
I
But
hope, yeah.
I
Yeah.
had something happen and it was totally normal considering the conditions that are going on. Something canceled. And for like a split second, I was like, kind of bummed about it. But then like I was immediately like, nope, stop it. This is not a surprise. This is the way things go.
Yeah.
So as singers who primarily made their living performing live, we now know you can't put all your eggs in that basket. You got to go down some different routes. And you
Yes.
obviously have done that. So tell me about the various things that you're picking up
Sure.
now.
Yeah. So, I mean, with one of the first interviews that I saw you do, and I can't remember her name right now, and I feel really terrible about it, but it was with one of the singers who like really makes a good living with session singing, and um
Vanjie?
and
Van
Patreon.
Zen?
No, oh, it's not Vanjie. It was the very first one you did, and I can't remember
Maybe
her name.
Audrey.
Audrey.
Yeah.
I think it was Audrey. Yeah, Callahan. Callahan. Yeah. Okay. So she was talking about how it took her a while because she was doing her day job, and then she set up like 5 or 6 different revenue streams, so that she could just only do session singing and take it on the road, and she didn't have to worry about live shows and booking and all this crazy the lifestyle that goes with all of that, so that she could like go on the road with her husband and just do all those things. And that was really, really inspiring to me at the
Mm.
time when I saw that interview, because I was like, this is what I need to do. Like, I need to start setting up these revenue streams. And it has been a slow process because I am not type A. I am very uh inherently lazy. and um
You're
and
chill. You're chill.
I'm not very disciplined. I'm chill, yeah, but I'm not very disciplined when it comes to business things, and I'm very much one of those singers that's kind of like very slow to learning the business aspect of this industry, where it's like I've been doing it for 7 years, so obviously some things I've figured out, but other things I'm just kind of like, I don't want to, and one of those things was creating a Patreon, or getting an account set up like with Fiverr, or a way to start with session singing. And so I finally did those things. I have a Fiverr account and I have a Patreon. And the Patreon, for the first couple months that I had it, I had 2 people. I had 2 people, and it was so slow going, but I also wasn't promoting it very well. And then once I started promoting it more, it was like, wow, I have more people. I have 12 people now, and I've had it for about 5 months. So not too shabby, and they're all set at $5 or more a month. So I'm slowly kind of building up that revenue. And then I also have my session singing, my uh what did I just say? Oh, my Patreon. My random live streams that I do, and then I do some occasional video editing gigs. Like, I do some video editing for you. I
Mhm.
do some for Carissa every now and then. Occasionally it's just easy editing stuff, nothing like I'm editing your whole movie or your show or your music video, because obviously I can't even do my own, so I'm not going to do that for somebody else. But I do little things to try to, so right now I have like 3 or 4 revenue streams that are slowly kind of growing and building up. And then I'm taking the occasional gig that I feel is safe enough. So
Mhm.
where I feel comfortable enough doing it. Um, and so that's kind of supplementing my income. But I'm at a point right now where I don't feel bad saying no to a gig, um, especially because of the conditions that we're living in right now. I don't feel it's safe, then I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to compromise my health, and then I'm also on the unemployment train. That's a disaster right now. But those are the things that are kind of getting me through at the moment. And so
Mhm.
my plan is to add on to those revenue streams, and to keep cultivating it and growing it and networking and getting, my name out there and my name in people's heads and my voice in people's ears, so that they say the next time they need somebody, they go, "Oh, I want Lauren." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so smart. It's so totally smart. And you've done a great job marketing it, like putting it out there. And I love that you're talking about this, because I think one of the most important things that you just said throughout this whole thing is that you're being patient with it. You didn't just throw up the Patreon account and be like, you got your 2 people and then be like, well, this is
Not
a
working.
total failure,
I'm
you
done.
know?
Yeah. There's been a couple moments where I definitely thought about that, but I just was like, well, we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing with session work. I mean, you can put yourself out there as being, available or have profile or something, and it'll be crickets forever, but
Yeah.
you kind of have to get a scratch somewhere
Yeah.
to get a little bit of traction, and those things, they just take a while
They do. It's
to
it's it's just like any, because there's so many different ways you can go with music, and so many of us get stuck in this like, oh, just live gigs are gone, so my industry is destroyed. And it's like, well, no, it's like there, think of all the like millions of different ways you consume music. It's like that's how many jobs there are for music, and it's not just with live shows, even though that is something that is the most fun for us and something that we enjoy doing because we get that immediate feedback and that energy and we love it. Um, it's not the only way to go, and getting that out of your mindset, that was what was really hard for me in the beginning of like, oh my God, I don't have this. What am I going to do?
yeah.
But like watching your interviews really helped me a lot, like a
Mhm.
lot to see like, oh my God, there's so many different other ways that I could go with this and still make a living
Yeah,
maybe at some point.
definitely. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you said that. That's the whole point,
Yeah.
is to just really bring in, as many perspectives as I can, but
Mhm.
also to just so other singers, musicians can see right before their very eyes that there are other things going on. And you don't have to compare yourself to what
No.
other people are doing or feel like I should be doing this or that, but just note the fact that there are other things going on that you could potentially cherry pick and, grab
Yes.
what makes sense for you and go
100%.
from
There's so like there are I have a big problem with comparing my productivity to other people and then getting stuck in my head of like, I'm just not doing enough. And I watched your interview with Shelby, and she said something that really stuck out with me, which was with Shelby Bennett. Oh, I love her
Mhm.
so much. I love her voice. Anyway, she said um, something along the line. I'm going to paraphrase, but it was something along the lines of busy doesn't always mean successful.
Mhm.
And that is so important for entertainers to understand right now in the pandemic, because we lose, like I was performing 5 days a week. I was
Mhm.
performing 5 days a week to nothing. It was culture shock for me. It was a crisis. It was an identity crisis. It was all the things of like, who am I? What am I going to do? And I had to completely reevaluate what was important to me.
Mhm.
And not doing anything, like you said, like you had a change of plans today
Yeah.
where you were gonna be busy and working on something all day, and then COVID happened, and it's like, "Okay, well, I have nothing to do now." That's okay. Like, that's where we're at now. Like, that's our life. That is the soci we are live in a society. It's like,
Mhm.
this is how it's going, and taking our time to take a breath and be like, "Okay, like, I don't have to be busy right now. That's alright."
Mhm.
Um, I get in my head all the time, like, if I go a week without producing anything, I'm like, "Who what am I okay? Is everything alright?" And, yeah, I'm okay, like, things are okay. Because if I take a look at the bigger picture, it's like I got to release a single this year already, and, I worked on a music video. Okay, didn't happen, not the end of the world. Um, Producing videos for my Patreon, I'm doing some other things, I've got a bunch of new singles that I wanna work on, like, I have goals.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't have to happen at the pace that we think it has to happen at.
That's a great point. And we're all wired differently.
Yeah.
Some of us are a bit more, um, we feel like we're thriving when we're doing,
Yes.
but some of us are not like that, and having the downtime or, being able to, relax or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
actually supports the work that you do in the long run. I mean, if that's the way
Do-do.
that. Huh?
You said do-do. Sorry, I'm a child. I'm a child.
You're hilarious. So, but it supports the way you are as a creative. if that's what you
Right.
need to, like, fuel yourself and
Yeah.
to be able to
You have to actually experience life in order to write about, like, if you wanna be a songwriter or if you wanna, like, create and you consider yourself a creator, it's like, where are you creating from? Like, are you creating from a sense of chaos and busyness, or are you creating from a sense of knowing who you are and, like, trying to get in touch with that and then expressing that at a relatable level? It's not, um it's really hard to create when you're busy like that. I mean, I didn't. For 5 years, I didn't create anything. I just performed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Glad you talked about that. I'm kind of the opposite, where like I really feel like I have to be doing a lot of things
Yeah.
to, but that's what energizes me. And
Yeah.
so if I have downtime, then it makes me kind of feel panicked
Uh-huh.
and everything. And my business coach and I had this discussion just last week, and I talked to Carissa about this too, where I'm like, I'm worried because, normally I have an idea, it sparks, I act on it, boom, boom,
Uh-huh.
boom, right?
Yes.
Well, no sparks are flying out there at the moment. So I was a little panicked, and she just made such a great point about the fact that, like, it's okay to just marinate.
Absolutely.
Okay to marinate. Oh, this was what the example that she used. She talked about surfing and taking the board out into the water, and just when you're just sitting on the board and you're waiting for a wave to come and you're balancing yourself, it may look like you're not doing anything, but the amount of work your core muscles are doing to keep
Yeah.
yourself balanced and, keep you going like that is incredible. And so, when we are in more of that waiting, I like to say marinating mode,
I like that.
are happening.
Yeah, I love
Things-
that sounds like a Carissa quote, like a Carissa thing. She really likes to relate things to water a lot, and I enjoy that as a Pisces. I'm, like, all about it. I'm like, "Yeah, just go with the waves and then just let your core work out," and that really it does hit home for me of, like, when you're sitting still, it's like things are still going. There's still, like, a million different things firing off in your brain to
Mhm.
kind of make things happen, um, and, I used to have the problem in the beginning when I was just starting to work, of comparing my career to Whitney's all the time, of
Mm,
being like, "Why can't I do everything that Whitney's doing? Why can't I, be as in the spotlight as Whitney? Why can't I have all these great gigs that Whitney had?" And it was so toxic. It was really
mm,
gross. It was bad for me. What
mhm.
changed that was becoming friends with Whitney.
Ah.
And being like, "Oh, we are totally different people living completely different lives, and I love her." Like, Whitney's one of my best friends in the whole world, but we're very different, like, to our core of how we process things, of how we work on things, of how, just how life works for us, and, um, but that's what makes us such good friends is because we can kind of bounce each other's benefits off of each other, and but the core thing there is that we are different and we're going to experience and create differently, and I cannot compare my story or my journey to hers. I mean, I'm just the biggest difference between us, just right out there, is that I have a kid. Like, that is huge. That's a huge difference. It's a huge portion of my time and my
Right.
energy and the love that I have, and the, things that I have to give to my career. My kid takes up a whole lot of that. And so just that difference alone, not to
Mhm.
mention just our personality differences, should tell me that, like, you know what, you're okay. Like, what you're doing is great for you and it's working for you. And if it's not working, then tweak it so it works. But you don't have to be like this person in order for your life to look successful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow, what a great life lesson there. I mean, who would have thought that someone causing such a, like, internal emotional reaction for you, that by just connecting with them as a human being
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
help you not only overcome that feeling, but learn something about yourself.
I mean, people are always like, "Don't meet your idols," but I really idolized Whitney for a really long time, and then I started getting gigs with her and, like, being able to do shows with her, and I think you should always meet your idols so that you can understand that, like, everybody got something. Like, everybody's got something going on that you don't know about, that behind the scenes, everybody's got issues. Every single
Mhm.
person, every single one of us, and nobody is perfect, even if they look perfect online or they look great, from a distance or anything like that, or like they've really got their shit together. It's like most people are just, like, white knuckling it,
Yeah.
especially right now, of just like, "Oh, we're gonna go through this," and just kind of pasting a smile on your face, and
Mhm.
there are days when I do not feel happy or motivated or feel hopeful. Like, there's days where I really don't feel that way, and something I've learned from Carissa is just, okay, allow that to happen, acknowledge that it's happening when it's happening, and just let it pass through you instead of pretending like it's not happening,
Mhm.
instead of pushing it down or, like, faking it. It's just, "Okay, I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm not okay right now, nothing is working out, I feel like everything's falling apart, okay, I'm alright now." Like, it's
Mm.
just getting it out and being weird. I really felt my aunt was was in me just then, because my aunt wait, I can hear my aunt sometimes in the way that I talk or the way that I express myself,
Oh, yeah.
and every now and then I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Eve?" Eve's because I'm just sorry. Totally weird.
Her spirit just moved through you.
Yeah, Eve Stella's spirit just passed through me. Um,
Oh.
yeah, no, she's taught me so much too, just
Mhm.
about, what success means, and those early lessons of that she man, I'm so grateful for everything that she went through, because she's been in this industry since she was 18 years old, and I'm not gonna tell you how old she is now, because let's just pretend we're sisters or something, but she's been doing it a minute, and
Yeah.
she understands the industry, and she understands success, and she understands, um, contentment with your craft, and it took her a lot of hard lessons to figure it out, and I'm so glad that she went through all those hard lessons so that she could tell me, like, "Hey, this is what success is. Um, just be happy with what you're doing, and if you can make money, like, that's a bonus, but
Mhm.
success isn't a number that you reach, success isn't the amount of followers that you get, success isn't, a million accolades, success is feeling contentment from art that you create, that you put work into," and um, for her, and I know for me, and I know for my aunt too, success is that bigger message of for musicians and for singers of, like, affecting somebody,
Mhm.
I don't know how this song is going to affect you, but I want it to, and that's my gift, is, like, I'm gonna affect you somehow,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna put and that's our the way that we contribute in the world is just I'm gonna bleh. I don't know how to explain it, but
Mhm.
there's something bigger in what we're doing, and it's, like, my art isn't really mine, it's everybody's if I release it. If I put it out there, then it's no longer mine. It's other people's and how they relate to it and what they feel when they hear it or when they see it. So it's whatever that is, that's the bigger thing, and that's success. And if you can affect one person like that, that's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great lesson, especially, talking about comparing ourselves to one another, that it's so easy, I think, to react and more go on the, defensive about things like that and kind of more isolate and protect yourself in that way. But if you can manage to pull yourself in the other direction and do things like connecting, like you did, with Whitney,
Yeah.
or really looking to
I love her too. Like, I just
mentor.
absolutely love Whitney.
Yes. Yeah. But looking for other people and connecting with other people who have gone before you and have done these things, because the whole ride is just a constant evolution of learning, figuring things out, and
That's what life is, man.
that's life, man.
It's life, man. Just figure it out. You're just figuring it out, man. Sorry, I've had a lot of Pepsi.
I love it. You're hilarious. It's so good to talk to you. I'm
I
so
know, I
glad
wish
that
we could talk
you're
forever. This is fun.
I know. I just looked at the clock and I'm like, "Whoa." I feel like we
Dang.
just started talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I knew we'd have a great conversation and,
Let me
speaking of
say
great
let me say hi
conversation.
to Katie real quick
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
know that she was messing and Katie, if you are watching, thank you for always supporting me. I love you so much, and say hi to Callie for me and kiss her on the face. Okay. That's
Mhm.
her little baby. Oh, it's Melody's here too.
Hey, Melody.
It is Pepsi. It's literally legit just Pepsi. That's how that's how
Oh,
fancy I
your
am.
cocktail.
It's just Pepsi.
Aw, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for everyone, watching tonight. Oh, the point I was gonna make about just connecting in general and, having all of the singers come on here, um, every time I hang up from one of these calls, like, I just feel, like, euphoric
Yeah,
because there just is something about, making a connection with people who really get a certain, element of your life,
yeah.
I
You get
definitely
it. You get it, Danielle.
get me. You just get me.
Love you so much. We just did the same thing. We're like on a Disney Channel. Thank you for watching the Disney Channel.
Oh my but thank you. Thank you for doing this again. Thank you
Of
for,
course.
all the incredible help and support, that you've also given me behind the scenes as well. I
Oh, you
totally
got it.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
I am going to post your socials in the comments again. So everybody check out Lauren's,
Mhm.
new single. It's truly amazing. Make sure,
Yeah, all my stuff.
yeah, join her Patreon. Like
Mhm.
her stuff. She's got a lot of live streams in the
Yeah.
future with
My
her
single my single's out on Bandcamp, so if you wanna support monetarily, that's the best way to do it, is to go and purchase it for, any price point from $1 and above, and you can purchase my single and support the band that way, and then also my Patreon is every tier is $5 a month, so, like, you get access to every single thing that I put on there for only $5 a month. I don't have any tiers. I can't handle the tier thing, so I'm like, "It's just $5 a month, that's it." And you get all the things. And so my music video that I didn't release is out there, so you could do that. And we're raising money for my next single, which is going to be called Foul Play. So you can watch out for that coming up.
Mm,
And yeah, that's all the promo that I've got, I think.
wonderful. That's great.
Yeah.
And also, if you are a singer yourself watching this right now and you are
Melody.
Melody, yes, Melody will be on here soon. She,
Oh, good.
yeah.
I
Um,
love her so much.
make sure if you are benefiting from this or if it's helping you in any way or you just like to hear these discussions, look up my Facebook group, which is the Pandemic Proof Singers Summit, and join the group
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
there's just ongoing conversation around this. It's a good, support group. But I guess that is it for the night. Again, so great to see you. Thank you.
So good to
Thank
see you too.
you. Thanks to everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.